Welcome to the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen. I'm Chef Erica. Today, we're in our Prairie Street outdoor version kitchen. It's a beautiful sunny day. We're up here in our perch in the trees, and we're gonna do something really interesting and exciting today. We have a brand new cut for you. But before we get started, I do just wanna point out, we do these videos as an act of love because we love to cook our premier products, and we would love to hear from you. So if you could just click that like button on our videos, tell your friends, subscribe, share, that would be amazing. So today I have this really interesting cut of meat here. So you may know this, Ashkenazi Jews don't eat from the hind quarter of the steer, right? So that means no filet mignon, nothing like that. So how do you do recipes that require that sort of cut, that kind of texture and that shape? Well, what we have introduced is what we are calling our mock filet. Basically what this is, it's the most premium center cut of the strip. So it's the eye of the most premium part of the meat. In my personal opinion, as a chef of 25 years, this is better than filet because it's got some really nice, even fine marbling. It's got great flavor. It's got texture. I would always choose this actually over filet if I had to pick between the two. So we're selling it as a large, whole, intact muscle like this, which is cool because you can use it for different things. You could roast it whole for a big family gathering or a holiday, or you can cut it up into steaks. We can do a lot with it. So guess what we're doing today? We're actually gonna go a little edgy and we're gonna make a tartare out of this little tail section. And that's gonna be really fun and really interesting. So I'm just gonna cut off about 4 inches. I mean, it really depends on how much tartare you want to make. Usually it's served as an appetizer. You don't serve a huge portion of it. So I'm just taking this little piece, just like that. And actually, if you've ever seen medallions from a filet or filet mignon, it looks just like this, except this has some marbling, which makes it so much better to me. I am going to season this up well because meat loves a good crust of salt. So we have a really nice kosher, coarse salt here. And be generous with it. You know, a lot of the salt falls off in your pan on your grill, so be generous when you're seasoning meat. Red meat loves salt. That's just how it works. And some coarse black pepper. This is what's called butcher cracked pepper. It's sort of a combination of textures ranging from almost whole peppercorns to very fine. So it gives you some really nice texture, some sort of a pepper crust. Okay, so here's my little piece of meat. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sear it on my grill. I'm gonna open up my grill, which is of course preheated, and look what I have on my grill. This is a flat cast iron skillet. It's like a little griddle, it's called a comal. You don't have to do this, you can go right on the grill if you don't have something like this, but really think about the fact that your grill is really just sort of like a big stove top, so you can always cook in pans on your grill. That's kind of nice in the summer if you don't want to heat up your kitchen. You can get outside. Even in the winter, you can use your grill. Why not? So this is getting really hot. And remember, with cast iron, you want to preheat it and you want to make sure it's well seasoned. So use that cast iron often. Cook in it. Really get it beautifully well seasoned. I'm going to put just a little drop of oil on there. Not too much. Meat's got some marbling, so we don't need too much fat on there. And just swirl that around a little bit. Okay, and all I want to do is sear the outside of this. All I'm looking to do here is get color, crustiness on the outside. A tartare is really a raw meat preparation. So you would just take raw meat, of course, dice it up, or raw fish. You could have tuna tartare, salmon tartare. But what I like to do is just get a little bit of that crustiness on the outside. It's just going to add a little flavor and a little texture to our tartare. Just like that. So can you see that beautiful golden brown color? That is called the Maillard reaction. That's what happens when proteins hit heat and they caramelize like that. That equals flavor. Just gonna keep going on that. So a tartare, as I said, traditionally is a diced raw meat preparation. You chop up the best possible meat you can get, mix it with very pungent seasonings, mustard, capers, shallots, things like that. And then you eat it raw with really nice potato chips or toast points. You could do it with fish, you can do it with meat. We're gonna do it with this. And because it's a finely chopped or ground meat product, you wanna make sure that you're using a really good cut of meat. Don't use pre-ground meat for this, okay? This is not where you use your ground like hamburger style meat. You wanna buy a really nice piece of meat and either dice it or grind it yourself. Don't use pre-ground meat for this. You wanna work from a whole muscle. Now, the reason you don't want to use pre-ground meat is because pre-ground meat can actually be kind of a health hazard. There can be bacteria in there that's harmful. You could wind up with E. coli from pre-ground meat, which is why it's always recommended that ground meat be cooked too, fully cooked. When you're searing off a whole muscle like this, you're only killing off any bacteria on the surface. You don't have to worry about the interior of the meat. It's going to be safe. But if you feel uneasy about this, you could cook this more to like a medium rare and dice it up, and you can do sort of like a faux tartare. It'll still be delicious. Now, because the flavor of that surface is so important, I want to get every cut surface of this meat, so I'm going to do my ends too. And I do that if I'm cooking like a little medallion of meat, or if I'm cooking a steak. If I have surface area, I want brown on it, because remember, brown equals flavor. Okay, this looks great. I've got nice brown color on all surfaces, so now we're going back to our board. Okay, so you may have noticed this. I am now on a new clean cutting board, because you never want to mix your raw proteins with your cooked. So once something's cooked, move it onto a clean cutting board, clean your knife, all of the above. Okay. So now this is going to get diced up. I'm just going to let it sit here and rest for a minute while we talk about everything that's going in here. A classic beef tartare has things like capers and diced shallots and mustard and lemon. Sometimes it has a raw egg yolk. We're not going to do that today, but if you like that, you can mix that in. But it should be boldly flavored and boldly seasoned. You want to really taste this. And like I said, it's a first course. You eat small amounts of it. So we have some Dijon mustard, I have diced shallots, I have chopped up capers here, some chopped parsley, some lemon. These are just finely julienned radishes that make a beautiful crunch and garnish, and some toast points. You could also serve this with really nice potato chips too. And I'm gonna garnish it with just some whole capers also. I love capers. Capers to me are like a little magic ingredient, secret weapon that you keep in your back pocket, and you just throw a few on a plate and you add vibrancy, pungency, a little pizzazz to dishes. So make capers your best friend in the kitchen. So now I'm going to start to dice this up. So I'm just slicing. You want to use your best, sharpest knife for this, because we want a really nice clean cut. We don't want to hack this meat up. We want nice small dice. If you have a grinder, your own meat grinder, and you want to grind your tartare instead, that works too. But we're going to go ahead and dice this meat. So you want to dice this up pretty small, okay? And I prefer the dice texture for a tartare, but like I said, if you have a grinder, go ahead and grind it. Don't do anything like put it in your food processor, because you'll wind up with more like a paste. So just like that, little rough chop. Okay, now I'm going to put it in a bowl. So here's the diced meat in the bowl, and I'm adding some Dijon mustard to that. We want this to be very strongly flavored, so be bold. Some finely diced shallot, or you could use red onion. Sometimes shallots aren't so easy to find. A little bit of chopped up capers. The capers add salt and they add acidity, pungency. Now this is some cool stuff. This is a spicy preserved lemon, like a Moroccan style preserved lemon. This has a little spice to it. I really like it. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that in there. You always wanna add something like a little pickly, a little pungent. Good amount of chopped herbs. I'm using parsley. Tarragon is great in here too. A leafy herb like parsley or tarragon, or you could even use cilantro if you wanna go in that direction. And then a little bit of lemon juice. And we're gonna mix that up. I haven't added any salt yet because I seasoned the meat before I seared it. The mustard is salty and the capers are salty. So you always wanna be careful about that. If you're using salty ingredients, wait to add salt until the end when we taste. I might add a little more pepper. Mix this up. All right, that is ready to go. I'm gonna serve it on this really nice wooden plate, but you could serve it on a platter or on little appetizer plates, totally your call. Sometimes people will use like a little ring mold to serve it so it holds together. I like just a pile. I like it sort of rustic on the plate, like that. I'm a rustic kind of gal. If you wanted to do the really traditional style, you'd make a little well in the middle and put an egg yolk, and then you stir the egg yolk in before you serve it. But I like it without the egg yolk. I think it's good just like this. Just pile that up. And I have a few little challah toast points. So this was just some challah that I had that I toasted up like that. And we'll put a few toast points on the plate with it. Because you definitely want to serve this with something crunchy. A potato chip, a toast point, something like that. A really nice cracker. And then I'm going to garnish this with some of my finely julienne radishes for like a little bit of freshness on there. And I have a couple of whole capers here too. Just put a few on the plate. There we go. You want a little height on your plate, looks more dramatic. Like that. A little more green. And I'm going to finish the plate off with just a tiny bit more pepper. Like that. And maybe just a drop of lemon juice. Okay. So this is my beef tartare made with our Prairie Street mock filet ribeye. If you're going to make a tartare, you want to use the best possible meat. This is USDA prime. Prime means that it's less than 5% of the beef produced in the country is graded as prime, and we've got it right here. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and taste this. If you wanna order this meat for yourself, we have a brand new web address. It's prairiestreet.co. So when you're ready to order, make sure you have the right address, prairiestreet.co. So let's take a taste. I also drizzled the plate with a little bit of olive oil just to give it a little bit of shine. And I'm gonna put some on my toast point there. And, whoa, amazing. I feel like I'm in France. I'm eating tartare, there's a beautiful sunny sky. I'm surrounded by trees. It's really good. You can really taste the capers and the like just brightness and the freshness of it, the herbs, the lemon. It's great. This would be such a beautiful little appetizer for a classy dinner party that you're having, or even as a lunch with a big salad. It would be so good. So thanks so much for joining me here today in the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen outdoor version. I hope you'll make this at home for yourself, for your family, for your friends. It's so good. And remember to check out our videos. We drop new videos every Sunday at 2 o'clock with a brand new recipe. And check them out, like us, subscribe, share, all that. And please leave comments because we love to hear what you have to say. Remember, we've got a brand new web address, prairiestreet.co. And I'm gonna go back inside and eat the rest of this tartare. I may have to fight the crew for it, but I made it, so it's mine. Okay, we'll see you again. Thanks so much for joining me here today in the outdoor version of our kitchen.
Subscribe to our channel now and set your notifications so you don't miss our latest recipes and chef-led tutorials. Then head over to prairiestreet.co to shop for your next big meal.